live and in color from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas. It's Runway DFW, the new YouTube channel dedicated to bringing you live action from one of the world's busiest airports. My name is Walt Torco, but that's not important right now. What is important is that we start zooming in on the activity from our broadcast perch here at DFW Founders Plaza. And there's just one problem with that right now, and that is our camera shut down. So let's get that fired up again. And I think we're good to go there. So welcome on in. It is a breezy morning here at DFW Airport. Breezy, yet 20 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. And we're going to start with some action, it looks like, right here. Okay, so grab a cup of coffee and welcome on in here to Runway DFW. Right before we went on the air, probably about 20 minutes before, this UPS 747 arrived in the dark. It was a little early for us to get going, but it is there along with two MD-11s over here at the UPS cargo facility, which is right south of our location. There you can see the tails of the two MD-11 tri-jets. We are now awaiting the arrival of American Flight 2272 from Oklahoma City. It's an Airbus 320 over here to our left. So let's get set up for that. We're glad you could make your way over here to Runway DFW, where we bring you live action from one of the world's busiest airports on a windy Thursday morning. They were kind enough to turn their tail illumination on for us. We were here yesterday morning here at DFW, and it was a bad morning. We went on the air, just as we went on the air, the fog started rolling in, and we couldn't really go on. We couldn't continue. There was just too much, there was nothing to see. We've got some planes lining up over there. That first one is American Flight to Houston. No, that one's to, wait a minute. They're still coming in on the radar here. There's a Mesa jet, which I don't see on our radar. I'm not having much luck with our full zoom this morning. Meanwhile, we've got another incoming. You can tell the visibility gets a little hazy as we get beyond the airport property to the south of us. But it's just a heck of a lot better than it was yesterday when we couldn't see the runway from this vantage point as the sun comes up. I was hoping the fog would burn off, and I guess eventually it did, but we couldn't hang out for that. Here's that Mesa aircraft. And as I said, it's not really showing up on my radar. Well, wherever you are, domestically or internationally, welcome to Runway DFW, your home for live DFW Airport action. And we like these daybreak broadcasts. You can see the sun is just about to peek over the horizon in a couple of minutes. If you're not familiar with the operations at DFW, we're going to be seeing a lot of American Airlines flights. Statistically, American operates or handles about upwards of 90% between American and American Eagle, upwards of 90% of the passengers at this airport. Which is one of their primary hubs, that being American. And there goes that Mesa flight into parts unknown. I'm not sure if we can figure out what that was. Let's see if the radar helps us at this point. Nope. Flying blind. Next up, I think we do see this one. The 737-800 American Flight 2872 is headed to Santa Ana. You know, we got a little puddle jumper from Tuscaloosa. It's an Ameriflight aircraft. And we're going to have simultaneous operations on runway 18 right and 18 left. So as this fellow lands on 18 right, just behind it, we've got the flight to Santa Ana taking off. It really is a great time of day to be watching aircraft. We're kind of backlit. 737-800, American flight 1320. This one is bound for the mile-high city of Denver. You see it passing in front of International Terminal D. And up it goes. Next, for your viewing pleasure, American Flight 2616, an A320 on its way to San Antonio. It's just about time for the sunrise, but it looks like the ball of fire will be blocked by clouds today, which makes it kind of nice because then it's not quite so backlit as far as our viewing goes. Behind you, you see one of the 3 control towers at DFW. And as parallel operations continue here on the west side. That aircraft appears to have no markings whatsoever. Not sure what we got there. That was an American Eagle plane coming in from El Paso. But I guess I haven't gotten around to painting it yet. Little cargo plane, I imagine. I haven't been able to peel my eyes away from this screen to see where that one's going to, or even if it's on the radar here. Okay, here we go. American Eagle flight. Lining up. Meanwhile, incoming. It's like an Airbus A319, American Flight 1811. Flight radar not telling me where it's going. Off to parts unknown. I was checking the schedule of operations before we went on the air here, and it looked as though we might be getting a little later before we sign off today. Japan Airlines flight in, but it appeared to be delayed. I wasn't sure if it's going to get here while we're here. We're planning to be here about 2 hours. Here's a flight that just took off from the east runway, or east runways, one of them, which we don't have a clear view of from our vantage point. We can see them going up in the air over the terminals, so if there's something of note, we'll try to catch it. And this looks like an A320 headed to Cancun. So some sun and fun in store for these passengers. Still having some problem with our focus. So they're headed to Cancun. That is the busiest American airline, or the busiest international route from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. As we see that SkyWest jet getting on the takeoff line, here comes an American Eagle flight. Or is it an American flight? American Eagle from Brownsville in deep South Texas. Yeah, the colors and the lights are really nice at this time of day. There goes that Sky West CRJ. As with any airport, the distances at DFW are quite large. There's the international terminal there. That's exactly 1.5 miles away from where we are located. Now we will turn our attention to this aircraft. It's an A321. Flight 2473 of the American brand on its way to Las Vegas. I've made that trip once or twice. Didn't want to leave the runway there, did it? We've got lots of action here in the first hour of our broadcast on Runway DFW. Excuse me. And we'd like to remind you that it's Thursday, December 8th, in case you are watching this on replay. We welcome all viewers. I watch these other airport broadcasts, sometimes live, sometimes on broadcast, or sometimes on replay. Big Jet TV and Airline Videos Live and LA Flights and Airliners Live. And while I'm doing my regular work, I'll have them on in the background. And I like when there's somebody narrating it to let me know when I need to turn my attention away from my work to something that's fun to watch. So in between all these big jets, a little single engine, again what appears to be a cargo plane, and that doesn't need much runway to lift off there, does it? Now it looks like we're having our first wide body of the morning. And here it comes. It's an American jet. Where's it going? Be a Dreamliner headed to Los Angeles. Since American has not yet restored all of its international destinations in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic and its aftermath. It's using a lot of these jets that would normally be used on transcontinental flights for domestic flights. It's just before 7:30, 7:27 here Central Time at DFW International Airport. And the sun is trying to peek over those clouds. We are looking towards the east now, of course, from our perch at DFW Founders Plaza, which is a nice little park that is set up for plane spotters or just people who want to go out and smell the jet fumes. And as I said, this aircraft is bound for Los Angeles. Takes a little longer to get unglued from the runway than that little single engine plane. Off to La La Land. We get a little better look at this Queen of the Skies, which is parked just to the south of us. It's a United Parcel Service. I should say UPS. I don't think it's United Parcel Service anymore. And that plane coming in on runway 18 right. Your A321. It's American Flight 2024. Coming from the Big Easy, New Orleans. Oh, look what we got here. Good morning. Good morning from DFW International Airport here in Texas. That's a beautiful sight. Well, we are off to El Paso, I believe, here with this, well, first, we got an Orlando inbound, an A321, flight 2677, American Airlines. Welcome on in to runway DFW. Turn our attention to a Spirit jet. Those are hard to miss. Is this our first non-American Airlines plane of the morning? I think it might be. But ahead of it, I don't know what we we got here? Flight radar is not giving us all the facts this morning. I know some things happen sometimes. But come on, flight radar, let us know what's going on. Flight radar shows a United Embraer 175 over there somewhere, and I am not seeing it, which is supposedly on its way to Houston Hobby. And conversely, I'm not seeing this one at all. Greetings, Av Geeks, wherever you may be. My name is Walt, and this is Runway DFW. And I do know that this Spirit jet is on its way to Las Vegas. It's an A320. It's flight 2954. And you got to give it to Spirit. They know how to make their planes stand out here at DFW in a world, in a sea of gray and red and blue aircraft. Wow, is it ever going to take off? There it goes. If you saw this structure off in the distance, it looks kind of like that kind of tower with the, can't get any closer to it than that. That's a radar installation. It's on the south side of the airport, which is a prominent feature as you drive in on the south side of the airport property. As I said, I've got no idea where this aircraft is going. This one in the foreground. The one in the background is going over a bridge to the east side terminal, one of the east side terminals. There's 3 terminals on the east side of the airport, 2 on this side. And here at DFW Airport, out of the 5 terminals, American has exclusive use of 3 of them, if that gives you any indication of how dominant an airline it is at DFW, which is why you're seeing so many American aircraft. There's one domestic terminal which accommodates other airlines, Terminal E. And then Terminal D is the international terminal, which again accommodates any airline that requires the use of customs. So I'm not seeing the destination of this aircraft. on the radar, so we'll just play along. If you're watching us either live or on Memorex, we hope that you will like and subscribe to Runway DFW, because that's how we are going to grow and prosper in this world of aviation video. I looked around because I liked what I saw with other live airport video channels here on YouTube, and I thought, well, you can see the flights from LAX and you can get a good look at what's going on in London or Chicago, but what about DFW? And I just didn't see anybody doing this, so I thought, well, I'll give that a shot. So welcome in, tell your friends. I hope you like what you see, and we are open to any suggestions or comments you might have. We're not yet doing the marathon broadcasts of some other YouTube airport channels, because we don't have the well, I got another job to do, so I've got to go to work after this. I'll be camping out at a Starbucks nearby to get started with work, because I can work remotely, so I'm happy about that. So that gives me the opportunity to get up a little early with y'all and show you what's going on here at DFW. We also generally have a weekend broadcast, quite often on Saturday, sometimes on Sunday. So we hope you'll sign up for notifications from Runway DFW, subscribe to us and like us, because that will drive us into the top tier of airport broadcasting. And you probably know how YouTube works. If people like and subscribe to a channel, it appears for more viewers, and that channel can grow and do more fun stuff. Well, you don't see this very often at DFW. A couple of single engine propeller planes lining up. I'm guessing they'll be taking off from 18 left here. My focus is not what does it say on there? Martin Air? I think so. And again, it doesn't need much of a runway to get off the ground. But these guys aren't showing up on my radar. An American 777 is just lit up on the radar over here on the west side. American has a maintenance facility or a parking lot over here on this side, and so or maybe they go over there to get cleaned and disinfected and all that stuff. And so it's lit up, and it'll be crossing over the west runways. There's a fire truck. Doesn't look to be in any hurry. I guess it's just testing its nozzle there. Huh, never seen that before. But I suppose that seeing how these vehicles may not be in daily use, that they would test them occasionally to make sure that everything is functional in case of an emergency need. What is the N number there? Look at my big screen. N785A, it looks like. Can't look it up, but that's what it is. In the meanwhile, as we wait for whatever this is going to do, there's a 737-800 coming in from south of the border, Guadalajara, American Flight 1034, which will be coming in from the north, just behind this. This is going out on runway 18 left, and the incoming traffic over here is coming in on 18 right. I was hoping to get that aircraft bisecting the sun, but I think the sun has gotten a little too high up in the morning Texas sky for that silhouette effect to happen. It's nice when it works, though. So we've got another small aircraft making its way, where'd it go? There it is. There's a bird on wire. There's another Martinair flight. Could do a little research on that. I don't know anything about it. But it is crossing over the west runways at a breakneck speed while there is no incoming or outgoing traffic. And it would appear to be headed over to the east side of the airport for takeoff. Or maybe to go to a terminal to pick up passengers, I don't know. Well, let's see, there's a lull in the action here, and I thought I'd let you know a little bit about how I got involved in all of this, because I was watching all these airport shows on YouTube. I thought, so interesting, live shows on YouTube. Could I do that? So I went to the nearest airport to where I live, which is Denton Enterprise Airport. And I thought, well, I'll check out what's happening there. I'll take an old camera, which really wasn't suitable for video, and a tripod, which wasn't suitable for video either. And I'll just go over there and take some pictures of little business jets or small planes, and see how it goes, see if I can even do it. And when I got there, it was like going into a time warp. And I'm about to show you why that was. And there's what I was encountering. It was a collection of World War II planes, and that was a B-24 Liberator which my dad flew in World War II. He was a radio operator from one of the from one of the windows on the side and the rear, and so I got to see that in action. It was operated by the Commemorative Air Force, and you can see there was another jet behind, or another vintage plane behind it, and it was totally unexpected. I had no idea that this was going to be at the airport when I was there. So I thought it was kind of karmic, I guess. I was just very happy to be able to see that and to take pictures of it. And unfortunately, my camera kind of malfunctioned during the takeoff, so I didn't get to see that, or I didn't get a good clear picture of it. But there you go, B-24. Well, as that was playing back, here's a look at two of the UPS MD-11s, one of which has just backed up and is getting ready to depart. So we'll get to see a tri-jet. And I've said in previous broadcasts, the MD, or the DC-10 / MD-11 design was not my favorite. That whole third engine kind of glued onto the tail fin, the vertical stabilizer, just looks odd to me. It always has. And unlike the L-1011, which was a jumbo, a wide-body jet of the same era, where that third engine was kind of integrated into the fuselage, and also even the 727, which did the same kind of thing. This one, it just seemed like, why did they do it that way? It's like they had a nice two-engine jet, and they thought, well, let's stick a third engine on there. But say what you will about the DC-10 or the MD-11, it has endured. FedEx is flying some DC-10s, they're all used for cargo, that are more than 40 years old. I don't know if anybody's using this vintage aircraft for passenger use anywhere in the world, certainly not domestically. But yeah, you see quite a few of these flying around, not just the US, but around the world, hauling cargo. So here is this example, pulling out of the UPS cargo hub here at DFW. And good morning to you, flight crew. What must it be like to operate one of these old birds? This one is now on the radar, and it's headed to the UPS hub at Louisville. And we don't know yet if it's going to be taking off from this side of the airport or not. Generally, eastbound traffic transits over to the eastbound, or to the east runways for takeoff, But that's not a hard and fast rule. But we are lucky with this vantage point to get a view of these, a close-up view of these great aircraft. There goes some emergency equipment again. I don't have any air traffic control going right now, so I don't know if there's anything that we need to be concerned about. There are multiple vehicles. There's an ambulance. I'm just trying to see if there's anything going on here. We do have a United Express jet lining up. Meanwhile, sorry for that pan, here's the MD-11. I have a feeling it's going to be transiting the west runways to go to the east side. Seems to be getting a little hazier here at the airport right now. Got a United Express E-175, and this one's going to San Francisco. Where did it go? So a lot of, must be making a runway inspection. Here's the United Express flight over there. So it's taking off on 18 left. The inspection, or whatever they're doing, is taking place on 18 right, which is where the arrivals have been. There's lots of runways here at DFW if 18 right is inoperable. There goes that MD-11 in front of that one. Let's get back to see what this guy's doing. See if it lines up over here or if it goes over to the east side. But anyway, there are 3 north-south parallel runways over on the east side of DFW for your landing and takeoff convenience. There are 2 parallel north-south runways over on this side, and there are auxiliary runways runways on the east and west sides of the airport. And as I suspected, this big tri-jet is lumbering its way over to the east side for its eastbound flight to Louisville. So it's going to go over a bridge, which it's it's a north-south. There's a north-south access road that takes passengers to the terminals, and it's quite a sight when you're driving down that access road and you see a gigantic airplane crossing over the highway. If it were a clearer day, you'd see the skyline of Dallas behind that plane right now. We're about 15 miles, I'd say, to the northeast of, or to the northwest of Dallas. So off it goes. Meanwhile, they are conducting some kind of inspection or something. There's that truck. I don't know if it's vacuuming things up. I don't know. So many mysteries to unfold here at DFW. Here is, oh, sorry about that. Here's an American Dreamliner, and it's headed out of cold storage on its way to take passengers somewhere. And so it will be crossing over the runways 18 left and 18 right on its way to a terminal. All spiffed up, as my grandma used to say. I guess that's a 777, that's not a Dreamliner. In fact, we just had looks like a flight landed from San Antonio on the east, or on the west diagonal runway here. Let's take a look at, let's go to the map. And there you see an aerial view courtesy of Google Earth. And what you see there by the blue Runway DFW logo is where we're located here at the big airport. And then you can see runways 18 left and 18 right in yellow next to us. The parallel or the diagonal runway that's in use right now is that yellow line on the left side of the screen. And then those big fat white letters indicate the terminals. Terminals A, B, and C are all exclusively American Airlines terminals. They have all the gates in those terminals. Terminal E is the domestic terminal where other airlines can come and go, but yes, American has gates there too. And Terminal D, which is different in design than all the other terminals, and it's the newest terminal, is the international terminal, where the customs operations are located. Let's go back now. Okay, there you see in the distance, oh, it's climbing fast. That's the MD-11 that we saw pulling out. It's already headed up. Well, that went up quick. Something about a tri-jet. Morning at DFW. Well, we've been on the air for about an hour now. Seen some interesting things, mostly American flights, American Airlines flights, American Eagle flights. I think if we can get way over here, way off in the distance there, that's a UPS flight coming in from Tulsa, 757? Yeah, 757. And we won't be able to see it for much longer because it's going to dip behind terminal buildings and parking structures and things like that. And yeah, that's about all we can see over there. Another plane out here rolling. Where'd it go? I can see it with my eyes, but I can't make it out with the camera. There we go. Yeah, that's another American flight which is headed over the bridge to the east side. And yeah, it could be, I don't know if this is a planned lull or if this is if there's some issue with the runways right now. It looks like that's the UPS flight we just saw land. It's already making its way over to here on the west side. Well, wherever you're watching us from, welcome to Runway DFW. If you're just joining us, we are live at DFW International Airport. We are looking over here. It's another American jet which has just come out of the west side facility that American has. I'm guessing for cleaning or minor maintenance. American has a big maintenance facility in Tulsa, which is just about probably an hour's flight from here to the north in Oklahoma. Okay, well we've got a Dreamliner which is about to make an appearance here, coming in from Honolulu. American Flight 9700. So finally we're seeing a little more action here. And I see it now from way behind us. You can see it flying low. So aloha, y'all. Big bird and a little bird. Chugging down the apron is this UPS cargo plane. Oh wait, we're gonna have the battle of the UPS planes here. Or is that a UPS plane? That second one. I thought it was. Over on the east side of the airport, we just missed, well, we wouldn't have been able to see much of it, but it was an American flight from Lima, Peru, coming in. Now look at all this action. What must that bird be thinking? Kind of going to the backyard here. I was kind of hoping we'd get to see this old bird lift off this morning. I don't know. It's still being plied with cargo. And we're only here for about another, less than an hour. So we'll see, keep our fingers crossed. Things are getting a little busier here at the big airport. Got an A319 coming in, American flight from Bilbao. And lining up here, you got your 777 American flight 789 bound for La La Land. Hey, thanks for watching Runway DFW. You know, hit that like button. I know everybody says that, but if you do, we can grow and do more shows. We're kind of backlit right now because the sun is directly opposite us. So if things look a little shadowy, that's why. But it's kind of a nice light. All the checks have been made. The engines are fired up. And it's headed to the left coast. another UPS jet. And that was what you just saw was a Dreamliner coming in from Kahului, out there in the Pacific Ocean. There's a 757 UPS cargo which had just arrived from Tulsa. Meanwhile, we've got a, oh, sorry about that pan there. I want to say that's Delta, but it's so shadowy I can't see. I think it's Delta. That's an A321 headed to Salt Lake City, where I used to hang out for a year back in the day. Tell you how long ago that was, when I was traveling between DFW and Salt Lake City, it was on Braniff, a Braniff 727. And there's that UPS 757, which we saw a few moments ago. It's fun to watch airplanes turn. Oh, is this one going to turn? Oh no, it's pulling straight in. It's getting crowded over there. But the cargo door's still open on the Queen of the Skies, so it's not real clear if we're going to be able to see that taking off. Meanwhile, from Mexico City, 737-800 American Airlines plane. Bounce to the landing there. In the statistics for 2019, Mexico City was the third most traveled international destination from DFW. That plane we just saw taking off was headed to Milwaukee. American flight 1735. This one's coming in from Mexico, from San Luis Potosi. And this American jet, this Dreamliner, will be making a journey that I have made. It's flight 1127, and it is going to Seoul. My son lives and works in Seoul, and that's why I went to see him about 5 years ago. That is a long flight. This flight kind of follows the sun, you know, leaving at this time of day. And I don't remember there was ever a time during the flight that we were in darkness. So as we make that great circle route, we get to see the snow-capped mountains of the Aleutian Islands. It's quite a sight. A long flight indeed. Longest flight I've ever been on. And in fact, that was the last flight to Korea, the last flight I made, which I think was in 2017. So as much as I like to take pictures of airplanes and to hang around at airports, I haven't been on an airplane in several years. So get kind of a vicarious thrill from seeing this activity. Using up a lot of runway because it takes a lot of fuel to get over to Korea. It's probably one of Americans' biggest or longest flights, or longest routes, I should say. And there is our morning flight from Japan Airlines. I can't remember if this is coming in from Tokyo. I can't remember if it's from Haneda or Narita. That's from Haneda. That's Japan Airlines Flight 12. Oh my goodness, it's yet another UPS 757. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planes over there right now. I guess they can accommodate a few more. Meanwhile, more cargo is going into the belly of the Queen of the Skies. Thanks for watching us here at Runway DFW. It means a lot to us, and I hope you will like our channel and subscribe to it, because that way we will grow. We will be able to do more of these broadcasts. Right now we're trying to do 2 a week. We hope to do more. Our schedule is a little bit irregular in that I have a job and other duties to do at home, but I like doing this. I hope you can see my enthusiasm for it, and I hope you'll be with us for these broadcasts. Well, it looks like we've got nothing lined up here for takeoff, but we do have a landing coming in. And no surprise, it's an American jet. Oh, it's coming in from Denver, an A320. Trying to get that tail pulling in. And more cargo for the Queen. You might be able to tell that it's a bit windy here from our observation perch at DFW Founders Plaza. Let's swing around here, give you a look at the plaza facility. There's a beacon on top of that tower there, which rotates at night. It doesn't do it in the daytime. The flags over here give you an indication of the wind velocity. It's coming in from the south. But I'm not complaining too much. It's temperatures in the 60s, whereas yesterday when we got here for our abandoned broadcast in the thick fog, it was in the high 30s. So it's what a difference a day makes. And here's DFW Founders Plaza. Go around. Here's part of our broadcast setup. And now we await further action. It's 8:27. We've been on the air now for about an hour and a half. Here at Runway DFW, welcome on in. Thanks for watching. I hope you're liking what you're seeing. And there's a lull in the action. So we'll look at baggage cards, right? Because why not? If we were parked a little further around the curb or the curve here, we could actually do a traffic report on Highway 121. But I think to av geeks, that's kind of would be of little interest. You guys want to see planes and takeoffs and landings and such. And we hope before ready, and it's like blank. So why didn't it show us this? I don't know. That was American Eagle Flight 3554, Embraer 175 coming in from Querétaro, Mexico. Yeah, I was going to look over at the international terminal to see if we could see anything, but it's really looking pretty hazy over there this morning. It's kind of what happened yesterday. We got here before sunrise, and you could, it was a little, the viewing conditions were a little challenging, but you could still see flights coming in and out. But as soon as we went on the air, the fog just enveloped the whole airport, and you really couldn't see anything beyond this security fence here. Not even light. You could see some runway lights, which I guess are designed to be so intense that they'll pierce the fog. But there was a Korean Air flight, which I could hear it coming in, and it was a go-around. It stopped, or it did stop. I could hear it going overhead, and it didn't seem like it was landing. And then I looked at the radar, and yeah, it did not land. Well, we do have something going on here. It looks like we've got an American flight to Tulsa. I'll point my camera in the right direction. We'll actually be able to see it. There it is. It's an A320 flight 2720, and I don't think it has anything in the way, so it's probably just going to take right off there. As I said earlier, American here at DFW, American is super dominant. It has upwards of, between American and American Eagle, they've got upwards of 90% of the passenger traffic here. So it's quite refreshing to see other airlines pop in and out. And we get, I guess the most variety of planes we get is in the cargo category. That east tower is just a shadow, isn't it? The control tower. But yeah, we get quite a variety of cargo planes in here from different corners of the world. Cargo Lux, Nippon Air, Cathay Pacific. An American flight coming in from Monterey, south of the border. It'll be an A319. It's American flight 2429. Greetings from Runway DFW. My name is Walt. And we'll be here for about another 30 minutes or so before I've got to pack up all this gear and attend to my real job. But if you will like and subscribe to our little broadcast, we could make this into a full-time job. That's what I'm hoping, anyway. The visibility has definitely decreased since we fired up the old camera here. There's something going on over there. So yes, the visibility factor has increased the haziness of what we can see. Looks like this aircraft is taxiing. I can't yet tell if it's coming here for a departure or if it's going over the bridge. I think it's coming up here for a departure. You might be wondering, Walt, where are the super jumbos? And as we did see a little earlier, we've got a 747 UPS cargo flight which is being loaded. There is no A380 traffic into or out of DFW at the moment. Qantas did fly its super jumbo up from Australia, but that service ended with the onset of the pandemic. And that I haven't seen any schedule for it to resume. I know that Qantas has at least one of its A380s parked at LAX. So there's some anticipation that that will be pressed into service, but I would guess that DFW is not one of its initial destinations. There is, however, some good news for 380 fans here at DFW, in that British Airways has announced that this will be one of its destinations for the A380 from London starting in March. And that will be the first time that it's dispatched that aircraft to DFW, so that'll be fun to see. It's a Saturday, and we hope to bring that to you live. Can't tell you where that bird was going. My flight radar is a bit sluggish this morning. Coming in from Omaha, American Flight 2540. Landing on runway 18 right. And we're getting double barrel action now on 18 left. Arriving from Minneapolis, St. Paul. And that was flight 2767 taking off for Seattle. It's hard to tell these American planes without a scorecard, I can tell you that. And I'm losing them in the haze. Definitely in the middle of our morning rush hour. But I don't see anything that's not an American plane currently. Looks like the next up we've got is an American Eagle flight to Lubbock on the flight line. The one we saw earlier. Did it have any markings on it? Can't tell. Oh yeah, I guess it does. That one gets right up there. This one's on the way to Waco. Could almost just throw a rock from here and get to Waco. I doubt that they're in the air for 30 minutes. We're getting a message from one of our Runway DFW viewers, Edward Wang, and he is saying that Qantas will resume its DFW service in February, but not with the A380, with a 787 Dreamliner. And a noisy little twin prop plane here from Ameriflight. That's definitely a cargo plane. Just going in behind the other UPS flights or jets. Let's check in on our Queen of the Skies here. Have they buttoned it up yet? Well, can't tell. The door's still open. Yeah, and it looks like down there on the tarmac is more stuff to go in there. So I have a sneaky suspicion we won't be seeing that guy go up in the sky, or that gal. I'm seeing on the radar an American Dreamliner without a destination associated with it. I said I'm seeing it on the radar over here, but I'm not seeing it. It's invisible. But there is a lot of glare from the rising sun, and visibility is not what I would hope for it to be. It's certainly not clear. There's a haze, kind of a ground haze. We can zoom into this gigantic American flag over there. We can get some kind of an indication of what the wind is doing coming in from the south. I think it would just blow all this haze right out of here and make it a really nice, brilliant morning, but well. Back to runway 18 left, from which is poised looks like a 145 headed to Laredo. You can see we've got some backlit planes here. That's just the way it is based upon where we are. And that American Eagle 175 is headed to Monterrey, Mexico. We've got a Spirit Our second spirit of the day. This one's Vegas bound. They're coming fast and furious here at DFW, just as we're about ready to have to shut down our little broadcast for this morning. We are so glad that you found us here at Runway DFW, and we hope to see you again soon. Our next scheduled, well, we don't have a schedule. Our next broadcast is likely to be Saturday afternoon Central Time, as long as the weather holds up, and I haven't even looked at the forecast yet. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll tell your friends, and I really hope you will like and subscribe to Runway DFW, the YouTube channel which brings you DFW action. I know that you hear that a lot, and I know it's kind of painful to hear, but it really does help an up-and-coming YouTube channel grow and get some visibility. And we are happy to bring you this broadcast without any, we're not soliciting any money from you or anything. We just want you to watch. Well, with this, I think we're going to have to lock it down and pack it up here from DFW International Airport on this Thursday, the 9th of December, 2021. We hope you've enjoyed our broadcast. Again, like and subscribe. Those are the orders of the day here from your pals at Runway DFW. And we hope to see you again this weekend, probably on Saturday, maybe Sunday. Who knows, maybe both. So that's it from us. We will see you again soon. And as we say here in Texas, happy contrails to you.